Welcome, everyone, you wonderful wastelanders, to the PIPCAST 3000. I'm Caedo Genesis, and this is Bad Company Sarge.
Howdy.
And this is a bi-weekly podcast every other Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific, where we talk about gaming, news, and Fallout a lot of the time, and have a dedicated Fallout topic, and sometimes have a special guest. Don't have one this time, but if you have any suggestions, please leave it down below. We have quite a few news topics that went on this last couple of weeks, primarily having to do with the new generation of consoles. Of course, some big game business companies and their microtransactions, as well as other stuff. And we also have fan theories that we're going to be talking about with the Fallout universe and how possible they are. It's always fun to talk about that kind of stuff, yeah. First, we start with the tip of the day and the comment of the cast. The tip of the day is wow. I was on a roll, dude. Protein helps with muscle health. I've been ingesting a lot more protein myself because I'm really trying to get my shoulder to the way it's supposed to be before March of this year. So yeah, I've been enjoying a lot of trail mix, having a lot of the gross drinkable protein shake trash, and trying to get my muscles and shoulder back to where it should be. And something I recommend if you're being in quarantine, a lot of us are probably not in the best shape at this point because we got to stay indoors a lot more. Yeah. Just if you're doing little minor exercises, even something as simple as pull-ups, push-ups, whatever, stretch first. Then if you're gonna have some muscle pain as a result, protein after helps a lot with the pain. Makes you feel less sluggish the next day or next days. Yeah. I'm not a nutritionist, by the way. This is just what works well for me.
It's good
anyway,
to look after your health.
Yeah,
man,
for sure.
With you saying that, I'm actually checking on my own stuff because I weigh like 3.5 stone more than I did when I was in my best shape. But I've just taken a look and I can't wait. No, I've got to check this. Man, everything's in different measurements, which is a right pain. And
I don't actually know what the measurement of stone is.
Yeah. Well, I've checked it. I'm 13.5 stone, which is about 190 pounds.
Okay.
And apparently, average American 20-year-old man, so younger than me, weighs like 198 pounds. So apparently, I'm still below the average weight, but that's crazy. Because I got a big fat belly right now.
And I don't know. I like to try to encourage, getting up and moving around a little bit at least.
Yeah.
Especially for those of us who sit down at a computer a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And that's me in a nutshell, dude. I get up, sit at the computer, go to bed. Yeah. That's a lot of my ritual.
Yeah.
So
the fact
anyway,
my bed's 6 foot away. Just.
Yeah. Oh, same. Almost exactly.
Yeah.
So we had a comment of the cast from the last PIPCAST that we did, right?
Yes. Oh, was that the transition for me to read?
Yes, yes,
okay.
If you'd like to.
Popo Paul says, "Hi, Caedo and Co. I know there's a lot of contradictory evidence, but I really feel that the original twist ending was supposed to be that you're a Gen 3 or maybe 4 synth, and I'm sure Dogmeat is synth as well. There's a terminal entry in the Advanced System Lab in the Institute, which basically said that advanced synths have VATs built in, and your character can use VATs immediately. I just wish that had been an actual reveal at the end of the game. This is in regards to Fallout 4, and we're going to be talking about that more in the Fallout topic. Stick around."
Is that like in your notes too, the VATs thing?
Oh, but I checked that literally just before the PIPCAST, and it is true.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, the first red roach you come across, you can use VATs before you have a Pip-Boy.
Yep. Whereas in Fallout 3, you have your Pip-Boy by the time you can use it. Which is fun. We should go on to the news.
Yes.
Gaming news. Atari busted out a new console. Just out of thin air, pretty much. And I don't know if they're actually going to be able to compete with, PlayStation or Xbox.
Well,
but
no. The fact that you are the only person I have encountered who has mentioned this at all.
Yeah.
I've not seen anyone talking about this. And we're on T3.com for the news article, and I'm not seeing anyone else really covering it even.
T3, that's smarter living or something. I don't understand what their banner means. But yeah, the Atari VCS is going to be a kind of similar to the like Super NES all digital console, where it would be emulating so many titles, but this is obviously for Atari. I'm pretty interested to see, what happens when it launches, but it's going to come with access of 100 games built in. So that's neat. It looks like it's going to be a bit expensive, though. I don't know if they showed the price point here, but I remember it being $389.99 US dollars.
That is quite a bit.
Directly from Atari. That's a little spendy for. Do you remember what the Nintendo console was?
I have no idea.
Walmart selling them for new, the Super NES Classic for $100 more.
Jeez.
For this one is $100 more.
I mean, still, this is launch price.
Mm-hmm.
These things are expensive.
Yep. Nostalgia pays though.
Yeah.
We know it at this point. How many times has Skyrim been re-released?
You can't class Skyrim as nostalgia, clearly.
You can now, Sarge. It's almost a decade old.
Yeah, now maybe. But when it was being re-released, that was no.
Well, okay. What about
Final Fantasy VII Remake?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, good example.
Yeah.
Any of the HD remasters of Final Fantasy games and the Mana series that they've been going through too.
Yeah. Sure, but man, I'm obviously incredibly young, so I never grew up with an Atari or any of those old people consoles.
Wow.
But I feel like just how nostalgic can you be over that stuff?
Well, I had an example for when I did my Patreon update thingy, patreon.com/CaedoGenesis. If you want to see me, see my face and me showing off the cool toys I bought for adult Caedo because child Caedo couldn't afford them. I got the polygonal figurines of the Final Fantasy VII characters that the Square Enix store put up, and it's just nostalgia. That's all that it is. It's expensive nostalgia.
I can kind of get that with a game though, but are there any games on the Atari console that you can't experience elsewhere?
I couldn't tell you because I'm not an Atari fan.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're all trash.
Oh.
But any of the potentially good ones, I feel like would be on some PC port or something.
Yeah.
And it's
most likely.
Yeah. I play my nostalgia games on Steam because they're on there, and I'm like, why not?
Or clones of already existing games. Look up Asteroids clone and you'll see a lot of them. Because I know Asteroids was one of them.
I'm pretty sure you can probably just play Asteroids in a Flash game or something.
Oh yeah, you can play it on a browser for sure.
Which kind of puts it to the point of, do you want to spend almost $400 on a console, or just type it in on Google to play the game you want?
Mm-hmm. But what about newer consoles, Sarge?
Oh well, they suck too.
Oh.
Yep, they're all terrible. No, so I don't know exactly where to start on here. But obviously the PS5 and Xbox Series X are coming out at some point.
Yep.
And I think just the other day people were able to show off a few things. I watched a stream of some of the Xbox Series X stuff where they were just it's 4K and 60 FPS, and I'm like, wow, how amazing, I've never seen that before. Yeah, that's they both look like they're going to play games in better quality.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them seem like they will not have enough storage built in, so you're gonna have to get external stuff to store.
Yeah.
And on the whole exclusive side, it's obviously PlayStation's slightly better, but apparently half the games people are excited about anyway you can still play on the PS4. So if you've already got a PS4, because you care about exclusives a lot, unless you really want games to look just a little bit better, then you might not spend $500 on the next gen. I know a fair few reviewers have got excited, being family friendly for the podcast, about haptic feedback on the controller, which is basically like, oh, you can feel the game.
Yeah.
But they seem to all be getting excited over like PlayStation's tech demo for it, and I feel like there's not going to be that many games that capitalize on it all that well.
Maybe. I know they've always tried to do something interesting with both the PS4 and the PS3 prior to, where they had the 6-axis motion control on the PS3, where I want to use Insomniac as a good example because Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Ratchet and Clank are going to be launch titles, or at least close to it. When they were a launch title for the PS3, they had like 6-axis motion control segments of Ratchet and Clank, and like even the hacking minigame was like the marble on the board that has a maze type thing, and you had to like connect things with the marble. It was pretty cool. It was gimmicky, obviously, but
yeah. That's what I think it's going to be. It's going to be more of a gimmick than anything else.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's not going to be many studios that aren't making a PS5 exclusive game that bother implementing it. Because if you're making a game for all the different, for like Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, you don't suddenly go, well, we're going to do like tons of extra work for haptic feedback for potentially like a third of our customers.
Yeah.
Like, depending on, like, obviously I have no idea how difficult it is for developers to implement that stuff. Maybe they can add in, like, a couple of cool things here and there. But I feel like reviewers are getting very excited over a tech demo that isn't a game, but is literally just designed to show off what can be done with this. And I think it's going to kind of go back on them, because they've had the best experience you can get from the haptic feedback.
That's true too. I wanted to bring on another example, but I haven't gotten the other side of that example, which is Death Stranding, because it had some extra mechanics thrown into the controller with the little speaker that it has on it. Like when BB would get upset, you'd be like rocking the controller to put him back to sleep, but he'd be crying from the controller. It's weird, but that's also a Kojima game, so
Yeah.
Of course he's utilizing all the technology at his fingertips.
Yeah, I honestly don't think either console is that exciting. They are much more just upgrades rather than anything revolutionary. Biggest concern with them is storage size, because games are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yeah. And annoyingly, I couldn't find like anywhere which gave like the definitive, yes, this is how much space you have on this console versus this console. Everyone's being like a little bit iffy on it.
Yeah. If it's smaller, and if they're both using SSDs, like that kind of, I think that explains why. If you're getting a standard hard disk drive, they're a dime a dozen at this point. But SSDs are still, a bit pricey, especially if you get into the 500 gig onward sizes. Even though I keep buying them for myself, even though I don't need them at this point, it's like another thing just to collect, almost.
I think that a lot of people are just going to struggle with storage space on these consoles, especially like people who are more casually into gaming, who aren't looking for all of this extra stuff to go along. They just want to boot up a console, play a game, and have everything be smooth.
Yeah.
The added step of having to get extra storage to hold like more than the 3 big games you want to play. Like, I'm going to say Starfield because we're going to be talking about it later. You install Starfield, the latest COD, and FIFA. Let's just go for 3 big ones. Yeah. I feel like those combined are going to eat up like 80% of the storage space you actually have on the consoles.
Mm-hmm.
And then people are just going to struggle after that, because games are getting really big.
Yeah, and now consoles are no longer relying on, I mean, that's probably since the PS3 era, or that generation. They're relying less on the data that's stored on the media, and just installing it full on on your hard drive. So, modern technology does have downsides.
Yeah.
But also, you don't have to worry about the disc getting scratched after you
That's nice.
installed it. and it's
Man,
skipping.
it took me like 5 years to get past the first disc of Final Fantasy VIII because it was scratched. And it just crashed at the end cinematic every single time.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, my Final Fantasy VII game also did that.
Yay.
It would skip the ending cinematic. It would get about halfway through and then just jump right to the credits. I'm like, my payoff.
I mean, at least you got to the end.
Yeah.
I had 3 entire discs I didn't get to play until I was an adult.
But you can also, you know, that's one of the many games that are on PC now that you don't have to worry so much about.
Yeah, I've been playing it on PC recently. It's fun. I made a statue.
What kind of statue?
A Laguna statue.
Oh.
Yeah. I went to Shumi Village. I picked up some stones. I made a statue.
Nice. You would think a statue of an awesome character would cost a lot of money, and you know what ends up being worth more money than we want?
I'm letting you go with this.
It's the microtransactions and making money off of mobile games that Blizzard Activision happens to be doing. I need to open it to actually. Hear how excited I am.
Yeah.
Why bringing more franchises to mobile is Activision Blizzard's biggest priority, says COO. That's the headline.
Yep. Gamma Sutra got like the scoop on it. So I've been giving credit where credit's due.
Quote. What?
No, carry on.
Oh, quote. In terms of future growth, we still see strong potential for Call of Duty Mobile. China, obviously, we believe can become a significant contributor to our overall franchise revenues, says Kostic. And we talked about how the title has been approved and is now in final testing. So again, we expect to see it soon. We think we can have a great impact in the region. And he said it's not really just China, even though it's very obvious that it's a primary contributor.
Yeah.
For example, Mexico and Brazil are top 5 markets for us in terms of both installs and revenue. Are they 5th? I don't know if we have actual. They say top 5 to make it sound big. But a whale is a whale, basically. And Blizzard Activision is doing what they do. They're chasing money.
Yep. In
China,
China, consoles aren't as popular, so mobile games are going even bigger there. There's like over 1.4 billion people in China, so it's like a ridiculously huge market. Hence, Activision Blizzard is going even heavier into mobile games, because even though over here they're still like popular, but they are kind of looked down upon by a lot of gamers.
Yeah. Not real games.
Yeah. They make a ton of money, to the point of Activision Blizzard made 1.2 billion in microtransactions in the last quarter. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's really, really crazy. Man.
Last quarter. I even though I hijacked this link from the Game Ranks news video, Friday news show, and shout out to them, Jake Baldino made it explicitly clear that we know what a quarter is, which is 90 days. $1.2 billion in 90 days from microtransactions.
That's too much money.
Yes, it is. from like basic low effort, like I don't even like saying it that way, but it is low effort on the development side content that people are paying for.
Like the base products are quite well made. I will say that. The actual base product, which is like the thing that seems to make the least money now, is the best made part. There's a lot of talented people working on it. But then like the quick and easy skins and stuff, which still do take time and effort, and someone does good work on them.
Oh my god, it's like YouTube.
Comparatively, it's... Wait, what's like YouTube? Oh yeah, how garbage videos do incredibly well. And... Yep.
It's like YouTube.
Yeah.
The low effort trash still manages to reach the top, whereas the high effort extra work put in, sometimes taking a month to create, really is a crapshoot and or will fail.
Yay.
Yeah, it's hard to get real.
Too real.
People like convenience, I think, a little much. I'm not excluding myself from that, by the way.
I'll exclude myself from it.
Well, since we're talking about transactional stuff as well as the micro sense of them, EA is fined over loot boxes. This is actual good news when it comes to dealing with EA and their nonsense. This is Electronic Arts. I'm sure you've heard about them in the news, listeners. But that's 10 million euro, right?
Yep. Yeah, that's the euro symbol.
Okay. I am cultured. Over loot boxes as Dutch court sides with gambling authority. So our brethren in the Netherlands are dropping the hammer on FIFA specifically.
Yeah, and I should also say that's like just shy of $12 million.
Wow.
Yeah, dollars suck. Terrible currency. Can't make anything off of them.
Yep. So I think that's really, really good. I hope a lot of other countries follow suit, regulating it the way it's supposed to be, as gambling is. Because yeah,
it's like, I know the Dutch court's been going quite heavy on it, especially compared to everywhere else in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice that they've at least done this, so it kind of sets a bit of a precedent for other countries to maybe be like, oh, okay, we can kind of do this.
Yeah.
Like, if the UK does the same thing, that's 9 million quid. America can do the same thing. That's, like, what did I say, about $12 million. Like, even if they did this exact same thing, it would at least put a dent in the earnings. But as we just mentioned, I mean, EA obviously makes different amount of money to Activision Blizzard, but the earnings for some of this stuff can go well over millions. It goes into the billions. So this fine isn't going to do anything on its own, I don't think. At least not anything super serious. Like, maybe in the Netherlands they're going to pull back from microtransactions, but unless other countries really go heavy on it, and especially other countries with large markets go heavy on it, it is just like one small step.
Hoping that small step does get perpetuated, and a lot more countries get on board. From what I'm skimming, I'm still skimming again. From what I'm getting from this article is that EA is still in denial that it's gambling.
Yep.
Completely.
It's just fun surprises. Everyone likes their fun surprises.
These are surprise Ultimate Team packs. They don't offer items of value because they cannot be directly converted into money. You know...
I mean, the funniest part for me was EA claiming it's violation of the freedom of expression.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah. Where is it on here? Okay, here it is. EA also argued that the KSA's decision forbidding FIFA Ultimate Team packs in their prior form violated EA's rights to property and freedom of expression.
No.
My expression is getting little kids to gamble. Why don't you understand this?
Mm-hmm.
Let me be free.
Yeah. The problem that I think most people would be able to make it make more sense. I mean, EA is gonna deny the whole time, but freedom of expression. But people are paying for that expression before the microtransactions part, and value is based on the consumer. Marketing people make something enticing so the consumer will buy it. It's still manipulative.
Yeah,
I don't know if I need to say that out loud.
There's nothing that makes EA look good. They even tried to get this amount not shown to the public. EA was like, hey, don't tell anyone, because that'll be bad for us and hurt our reputation. But it's happened, because we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Because the court was like, no, it's worth the public knowing.
Yep.
You've been kind of breaking our laws, so we're going to tell people that. Which is nice. Big up the Netherlands.
Oh, dude, you posted the Twitter... Okay. We should go to the next thing, because I want to talk about the next one.
Okay, Caedo, transition us to the next thing.
Okay. Well, sometimes things and companies and people representing companies in the gaming community are just not, they just have bad takes. Not good, not great takes of things. And one in particular is a quotable that I'm just going to read out what Sarge wrote here. Streamers should pay to stream games.
Yep. Screw the streamers. They're all leeches profiting off of the hard work of someone, I don't know who exactly, but they're, screw them, all these millennial streamers with their lattes and their chai teas and 20 other Starbucks drinks surrounding them. God, I don't know, a hard day's work if it punched them in the face.
Should we read the tweet by...
No, I think I explained everything perfectly, Caedo. We can move on.
Oh, come on. I think people want a little more context. We have everything linked below, by the way.
I'm being sarcastic. Please do read it.
if you want to read along. So this was instigated, not initiated, more instigated, by Alex Hutchinson, who is the creative director at SG&E Montreal. Previously worked on Drain to the Savage Planet, Far Cry 4, Assassin's Creed 3, Spore, Sims 2, etc. All opinions are his own. Make sure you get that from his bio. I
don't know what his old bio was, but I know that he updated his bio after this kind of blew up a bit.
Oh, I'm sure of it, dude. Yeah.
I don't think it was like any major stuff, but he's involved with Stadia, but like on a lower level. And I think his bio kind of made it look like he was like the guy behind Stadia almost. Like his bio just wasn't too clearly written, and that kind of blew this up even more.
Yeah. But what he said was streamers worried about getting their content pulled because they use music they didn't pay for should be more worried about the fact that they're streaming games they didn't pay for as well. It's all gone as soon as publishers decide to enforce it.
So yeah, streamers suck. They are the enemy. Everyone, if you watch someone streaming, make sure to tell them they are a criminal and they didn't pay for the game they bought. And yeah.
or developers mistakenly gave them their game to play.
Yeah, I mean, these developers, I feel so bad for them, constantly accidentally sending out thousands of keys to their games.
I'm guilty of this. I accidentally played Wasteland 2 before, like a week before it came out, because the developers sent me a key.
Yeah,
whoops.
Man,
my bad.
It's so easy to just accidentally everyone agree to break the law for mutual benefit that harms no one.
Yeah.
And man, it's terrible. It really is.
What Alex seems to be doing though is he's comparing first of all, he's comparing two different mediums. He's comparing music, which is just the aspect of listening, with gaming, which is a much more active approach. This is like I don't know if there's any other active type medium we can compare. Video games are kind of their own.
Yeah.
But when you play a video game, when you review it, when you let's play it, when you're making guides on it, like Sarge and I do a lot of the time, this is transformative. This is making it your own, using it as part of whatever your presentation is.
Fair use, woo!
Yay, fair use. Where if he was going to take a little bit further with the music analogy that he was using that was still bad, he could have been like, well, this is like remixing or sampling something to make your own song. You're still using some of the bones of something, but you're still kind of adding your personality to it. You're making it, something that reflects you, that kind of thing. But he just went hard on this should be illegal. It's kind of approach. Which is probably why he got crapped on by so many people.
Yeah. I was very happy when I first booted up this link, and the first reply I saw was from James Marriott, who made fun of his Twitter handle. Alex Hutchinson's Twitter handle is Bang Bang Click, and he changed it to Bang Bang Dick. Yeah! I was like, yeah, that made me feel good.
Yeah.
That was nice. It's nice to see that just at the top when I first clicked on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I just thought, this in particular, I'm glad you brought this up, because this was kind of like a highlight or a low light, I guess, of like what's happened the last couple weeks. Just how even somebody in the industry like doesn't fully understand what they're saying, kind of thing. Yeah. Reminds us that there are people too with dumb opinions.
I mean,
like
Alex Hutchinson even replied to his own tweet to make it even more clear, saying, the real truth is the streamers should be paying the developers and publishers of the games they stream. They should be buying a license like any real business and paying for the content they use.
Yeah,
Here's the thing, a lot of us do buy the games that we stream, like...
Yeah.
A lot of us do first off pay to play these things, but the developers a lot of the time pay streamers to play their games because it is advertising.
Yeah, they know the value of advertising and marketing their products. Yeah. Like, that's just being completely ignored by this post. That's why we can send codes, dude. Like, we are promoting their stuff. The more people hear about it, the more people be interested. Boom, more people buying their game.
Yeah, like, streaming and general content creation and video games have, like, a really good symbiotic relationship where it benefits each other, and, like, people don't lose out, like, 99% of the time. Like, if a game comes across, like, really bad in a stream or something, possibly the developers could lose out then, but even then, I'm gonna say possibly, because you're still getting more eyes on it, regardless. So, like...
I mean, there's a couple of good examples of that anyway already. Like No Man's Sky, like people would not stop talking about it, and suddenly it got good. Same with the ups and downs of 76. People don't stop talking about it. People become interested. That's how it works. But again, this was just another opinion on the internet, like mine and like Sarge's.
Except I'm always right.
Yep, except Sarge is always right. I shouldn't have pulled you into that. I'm the bad opinion here. But yeah, fun little thing to look at. This was, of course, on the 22nd of October, so
it's old news at this point.
A while ago, but it was fun to bring up. Something that I found to also be fun to bring up was 2 games launching on the same day that I want to play.
No, better not stream them.
I'm not going to stream them.
No.
I'm just gonna be a consumer.
Yep.
Godfall and Spider-Man Miles Morales both show up on the 12th of December, or 12th of November. I'm thinking way too ahead. I shouldn't do that. But both of them look amazing and fun. They're both going to be on PS5 as well. The Spider-Man Miles Morales has a PS4 release. I don't know if Godfall does. But Godfall is also going to be on PC in the Epic Store. So I'm looking forward to playing Godfall on my PC, and Miles Morales, I'm probably going to wait until I do get a PS5, just so I can enjoy that, 4K 60 FPS kind of thing. Because I might as well. Might as well be a Sony fanboy through and through. Gotta do it right.
I mean, because I don't console game anymore, I completely ignore the Spider-Man games. It's not me even worth thinking about them, unfortunately. Godfall, I'm going to wait till after it comes out, see kind of how things look. I'm going to see if I can use filters and photo mode in it, and if everything looks good, then I'll get it. But I'm not rushing to get that one. But I do like the overall look of it. Yeah, same. I definitely was getting a lot of Warframe vibes with this game, especially by some of the designs. But like some of the world design specifically, or the art direction that a lot of the areas take, because you're kind of going through different planes of existence, so they have that creative freedom to make basically an environment they want. Which, when I was looking at the video that we linked here, which was their like developer Q&A with Eric's and My Name is Biff talking to 2 of the developers. Really, really cool how excited they were getting about talking about the lore of the game as well as the art direction and stuff like that. It's generally just a fun watch to watch people geek out, and the look of both the game and the presentation are super duper clean. I want to make sure that people realize that too, that sometimes simple is better, and they took a simple direction with a lot of the like crunchy numbers in the game, at least from what I saw, as well as just how they presented it. So I can appreciate that too. Something that isn't very simple is Starfield.
So what's not simple about it, Sarge?
Oh, well, it's a fancy space game.
Oh.
Yeah.
That sounds simple.
Oh, yeah, it's very, very simple. Just a little bit of physics, a little bit of magic. Oh, space game! Done.
Yeah. Boom. No. New Vegas in space.
Yep, New Vegas in space is what we're getting. It's going to... You're playing as Joshua Graham with little alien tentacles, and you go around playing Candy Crush in space. That's everything we know about the game.
Should we do a plug for Mantis's video too?
Yeah, should probably mention that.
Starfield Hype Train Be Like is
Be like.
TKS Mantis's video. He started a collaboration. It was just a fun little collaboration that he did with me, Sarge, and multiple other YouTubers, including the Storyteller.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, his connection with the Storyteller is pretty great. And there was quite a few other individuals that joined in. But basically, we were making fun of hype trains.
Yep.
And talking about just making outrageous claims about what's going to happen with Starfield.
Yep.
All groundless. It was just fun. Just fun nonsense. And do recommend checking it out if you haven't already.
But Starfield we do actually know a little bit about now, which is what... I think this is probably like our second time talking about it on the podcast, because unlike a lot of other places, we haven't been like, ooh, Starfield, because we've only just got information, because Todd Howard spoke at the Develop Brighton Digital event, and talked about like his whole career and stuff. I haven't listened to it, but I definitely recommend you should, if you're interested. But a few things which, the Forbes article like plucked out bits of data, so I'm just reading from that. Apparently they have about 4 to 5 times as many developers working on Starfield as they did in Skyrim and Fallout 4. So, lots of people working on it. Mm-hmm. Apparently, Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6 are going to be using some procedural generation for the map, which means you can make like a bigger size game, because all of like the specific landmarks and interesting things they're going to be crafting themselves, but it sounds like they're going to go, okay, we need like a bit of space between this location and this location, random desert terrain, let's just throw that one in, and it helps to make things bigger and really scale up the world, which I think is quite important. Yeah.
What the specifics were on the procedural generation, or was there much?
Well, as someone who has not watched the video, I can tell you much more. I'm going off of what I know from, like, other games and my own super big, very smart brain. That it is going to be a case of just, for any locations where they need to kind of stretch out the distance, because in a lot of games, you do get locations really close to each other, and it doesn't feel right. Like, they've done, like, interesting things with it before. The one that comes to mind with me is Fallout 3 and the Metro. How everything in that area is really close together, but they just use metro tunnels and, like, impassable walls to kind of make it feel a lot bigger.
Yeah. Okay.
They're basically just pulling a different trick this time by actually making the world bigger, but without, like, developing, sorry, Bob, you're going to need to spend the next week building a space desert for this planet or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I remember, like, all the way back in Oblivion, like, they developed specific technology for, like, flora placement. Or flora and like rocks and junk, where they just, develop the algorithm and it would like auto place everything, so you wouldn't have to hand place all of the trees and plants and junk.
Yeah.
So like maybe this could be, in addition to that, or I'm also thinking like procedural dungeons, which would be cool if that's the case. Like I didn't obviously. We're super good at reporting on things that we don't watch.
Yeah, like, until a proper Starfield trailer comes out, I don't think I'm gonna get too invested. Like, the other thing that they've said is like, it's gonna be much larger than the Fallout 76 map. Cool, Fallout 76 does have a big map. That's nice. Apparently cities are specifically mentioned as being larger than in past games. I'm happy about that. I want actual big cities, because I've been replaying, like, Skyrim and Fallout 4 recently, and the cities are very small.
Yes, they are.
Like, this is just like, do you want to go to Section 1 of City, Section 2 of City, or Section 3 in City? You can see all the sections all at once, whenever you're standing anywhere in them, because it's tiny, but tiny, but tiny. Tiny little places.
One of the things I hope to see is, or utilized, is a sense of population that Bethesda has... from what I remember, Bethesda hasn't quite nailed, because the engine's limited or something like that. I'm
Yeah.
not entirely sure, but if you go to somewhere like Markarth, where it should be a bustling city and stuff like that in Skyrim, the bustling is usually just the guards switching with each other.
Yeah.
And the rest of the people, they're all named, they all have their own stuff going on, but it still doesn't feel as populated as it should be.
Yeah. Well, people are difficult in games quite often if you want to throw tons and tons of them in.
Yeah.
Like, it's getting a lot easier, but I remember back in, like, when the example that comes to mind for me is Lord of the Rings Battle of Helm's Deep. From a movie, they basically made, like, a game engine replication thing with that for some of the bigger things, and you do just duplicate the same thing over and over, because people from a distance, you can make tons of them, but as soon as you put them close up, if you want them to actually look like detailed people, there's a lot that goes into, like, each individual person, and if someone, like, decides to sprint through a crowd of 50 people who all need to be detailed individuals with just tons of complex stuff going on with them, you got to make sure that it's not going to, like, drop 50 frames all of a sudden because they ran past, like, super intricate faces with volumetric lighting on them and all of the other crazy stuff you have to consider.
And that comes back down to technology and whether it can be handled and still look okay. I'm excited to see what happens, though.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, something we've completely forgotten to mention, which I know people will be excited about, and which I'm kind of annoyed about the excitement for a different reason, is it's single player. It's been, like, confirmed that it's single player. Mm-hmm. And the part that annoys me isn't that it's single player. I like single player games a lot. It's that people were so convinced that Bethesda were just going to stop making single player games because they made a multiplayer game. There were too many people who were like, well, they've changed things in one game. Clearly this is how things are going to go forever now.
Yeah, that goes back to the wild speculation thing.
Yep.
Like they said during their presentations, by the way, that they're still going to focus on single-player games. They're just expanding what their knowledge base is.
But Caedo, they changed something, and now they're terrible and can never make a good game
again. They're going to do it forever. Jeez.
I mean, well, Caedo, your latest video was Wasteland 3, right? So you're never going to cover any other games again, right?
Oh, never again.
We know
absolutely. Never again. Also, I got a comment about that earlier, which was really ridiculous and funny, and I kind of want to read it out loud.
Someone basically say that. Oh.
It was actually the reverse. It was actually them asking why I haven't diversified or changed my things up. They're like, you've been doing Fallout for 6 to 7 years, and they clearly haven't seen the last 2 years of content.
I mean, you've got a lot of other games. Like, even did they specifically
7.
say Fallout as well?
Yeah, they specifically said Fallout.
Is the Daedric Artifact video still the most popular on your channel?
It is one of them, yes. As of right now, the lists, or the countdown videos have pretty much taken over.
Nope. I've just checked. Most popular is The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim, or Daedric Artifacts.
Oh, you're looking at just of all time? Yeah, that one's gonna be up there for a while.
Caedo, why you only cover Fallout?
Yeah, why do I only cover Fallout? It's because that's my niche. That's the reason I use. I was like, that's my niche, but you clearly haven't seen the rest of what I've made. It's hilarious that how weird the algorithm is in comparison to like what people are actually seeing, and that's a very clear and obvious like reminder that people aren't seeing things because I'm getting screwed in some way. Yeah. And also it has to do with my own, laziness. I want to take responsibility too. I'm not gonna act like I'm not responsible for what's happening. But there's an amount of punishing that happens when I try to do different stuff, and like the Wasteland 3 videos are an example of that.
Jeez. Yeah, I've just scrolled through like your most popular things, and we are getting off topic. I apologize, but like. Your top videos are like hundreds of thousands and a few with like over 1 million views, obviously. But there is all of a sudden like a huge drop between like the 100 to 150k mark and then down to like 10-20k.
Yep.
Like, you've got a surprisingly few videos that are like 50 to 75k, kind of that general region. Like, it is weird how your videos either do alright, I guess, or like proper blow up. Like, I'd expect to see the bulk doing pretty well, but not at the top. But yeah, it's a very weird range ratio.
It's high and low spiking. There's no like medium. Yeah. How it should be averaging out. Like it's ridiculous. I'll just make a new Vegas video and jump it back up again. It's fine.
Yep. Man, it's weird.
That's Starfield.
Yep, that's everything you need to know about Starfield.
Yep. Finished up the news topics, so now we're on to our Fallout topic. I think we should open up the chance for other users, because it was the comment of the cast, Popo Paul, that kind of inspired this topic. So if you have suggestions or have things you want to talk about while we're going through the Fallout topic and want to be part of the comment of the cast, you could possibly get both, and yeah, we can make that a Fallout topic, because we do have like a running list, but I don't always use all the things that's written down there.
Yeah, I will say as well, I did like some thorough searching for good Fallout fan theories, and there are not enough. Like, really, there's not enough. I thought there'd be tons of good ones, but most are terrible, or not even like actual fan theories. It's like, I wonder if Dogmeat knows Nick Valentine, and it's like explicitly shown in the game that he does, and it's like, wow, that's an interesting theory, isn't it? Like, so many theories are just god-awful that this was very difficult to get just a trio of fan theories. So please do come up with fan theories that are good in the comments, because it's not hard. Trust me, you can get a top 5 spot well easy, to the point of I've deleted my own theory I put in here because I figured we can save it for another time.
That could even be a Caedo's countdown.
Oh yeah, top 3 fan theories.
The only 3.
Yep, the only 3 worth looking at.
That'd be funny.
It's so many of them are trash. I got very annoyed. Very annoyed. But let's talk about the good ones.
Yeah. Let's start with yours, because you wanted to take the Fallout 4 one.
Yeah, I've snagged the one kind of best one, I guess. Which is the main character of Fallout 4 is a synth. That's a theory. It's a fan theory. It's an alright theory. But somehow it's probably the best theory.
It's also suggested in universe, which helps.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's specifically like a plot point of the Far Harbor DLC that your character could be a synth, and they talk about how like the radiation stuff could mess with your memories, they could have been implanted, all of that kind of stuff. You don't really know. Also, because you're the main character as well, the comment of cast mentioned that you can use VATS before you get a Pip-Boy. I checked and you can, so that's like something which they say that synths are able to do. So much of every fan theory as well as like, well, developers have probably just put that in to make things easier, and it's not actually relevant in any way whatsoever.
Yep. Could be that the game is a game.
Make them stuff. Yeah. It's man, I can talk about that at a different point because I've got a whole spiel about it. But yeah, basically the idea that Nate/Nora could be a synth is viable, considering Fallout 4 is all about synths, really. And there's always kind of a bit of murkiness over it. There's no way to really prove you're not a synth, because the only way to prove that people are synths is to cut them open and look for the synth bits. And when you die, it's game over. You can't just get yourself cut open.
Yeah, and even if you explode somebody's head into many fragments and giblets, you still have to loot it to actually see the part, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, but I will say the fact that you can't disprove it is my favourite thing about this theory, because way too many of the theories you can disprove very easily. Like, so many of them are just bad. But this one is like, yes, it could be a possibility. It's almost less of a fan theory because it's also a plot point in the game, but it is still an interesting thing to think about, and I think I'm remembering right that Mantis and I, on like his first appearance, kind of argued a lot about what it means for someone to be a synth.
Yeah.
Because it is a genuinely interesting discussion of the human existence and experience.
It is.
Because you can't prove your existence.
Yep. And also, he did bring up the Maxon being a synth, where that was a fan theory, but he confused it. He said it out loud. He confused it with truth. or wanted to make it truth in his mind, and it just
Yeah.
became true for him. So that one could be convincing too, but the only thing you had to go off of was the terminal entry that said he had enhancements of some kind.
Yeah, and you can murder him and loot him and not find anything.
Yeah.
Which...
Besides his sweet power armor.
Wait, power armor?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, he's in power armor? I only remember his battle coat, I'll be honest. Whenever
during the final fight, if you fight against the Brotherhood, the timing can be off, so sometimes he lands behind the airport, but he actually drops off of a vertibird in his power armor, and it's got that.
I just always remember the battle coat because it's so good looking.
Yeah, the battle coat's so good.
I can't picture him in anything else, even though I know for a fact I must have killed him in power armor because I've wiped out the Brotherhood a couple of times in the game. Yeah,
that's the thing though. Like if that can be scripted to get screwed up, like for him to drop behind, like you can just leave him there. Like he's not an objective, so you could just forget about him. You'd be like, where are my soldiers? Like comes out
nice
like 3 days later.
Ending.
Like a post-credit scene of him just standing alone. That'd be funny.
But yeah, I wish there was really more to talk about on the main character being a synth idea, but it's like I'm not sure what else you can really say.
Are you refreshed on the Dima thing? Like on the actual discussion?
I remember it fairly well, and he kind of leaves it up to you to decide, is the big thing there. He very much says, like I mentioned at the start, it could be implanted memories, could be radiation taking damage on your brain because you can't remember stuff. They play around with the idea that obviously, apart from Fallout 3, you're not going to remember every moment since birth, and in Fallout 4 you start off on the day that the bombs drop, and you don't inherently know anything from before then. But I can say as well, with someone who does not have a functioning memory, that it seems perfectly normal to me. Like, there are plenty of... well, I assume I'm a human, not a synth, but of course that's just what they want me to think.
Right, we can't prove that.
Yeah, but it's like you... Assuming that I am human, it is very possible that humans can lose large chunks of their memory and stuff, so it's perfectly normal. Plus you've got a bunch of extraneous factors which influence it, so like, the fact that it's fairly evenly balanced between being a synth and being a human, and does come down to your own point of view, is very nice. I even made like a character who I specifically put as a cyborg, and made it work within Fallout 4, because you can play around with that stuff. There's enough open-endedness to it. Not a ton, but enough that you can work with it. Yeah.
I think one of the things in the fan theory was talking about like the waking up sequences, because you wake up twice in the cryopod.
Cryopod, yeah.
That the first wake up is still that memory, and the second wake up is you as a synth.
Okay. To be fair, I've seen a few different versions of the theory, so I'm not sure which one is like the main go-to one. Because obviously you could have the character be a synth from the very start, or you could have had it as a person, like Nate Nora could have been a real person who didn't survive the cryosleep, and then you were made a synth based on that person, and kind of they replaced you and stuff. Like there are a couple of different entry points, which is nice. I approve of that.
Or it could have been the situation where you're actually seeing yourself die, kind of things, and just the positions were swapped.
Go further with that one, please.
It's the memories of the person in the cryopod where you watch your spouse die, right? But you could be the one that dies, and the memories could be like altered in a way, like this is Institute technology we're talking about, altered in a way to where it looks like the other spouse, but in fact you were the one that got killed.
My argument with that is kind of, it seems a bit stupid to me.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
sure,
why?
Can be.
Like, you died, so we put you in your spouse? Or why not just have the spouse? I don't get that part, I'll be honest. I don't see the logic behind it.
That's fan theories.
Yeah, that's true. Man, is that true.
Yeah. Did you want to touch on the Fallout and Elder Scrolls one?
I think we can once again plug TKS Mantis, who made a video on it just the other day, which I haven't actually watched yet, but...
Same.
I'm sure he discussed it. The problem is it's a fan theory, which almost always comes down to Easter eggs.
Yeah.
And I think, because I can't fully remember, but I think we did briefly discuss it with Mantis when he was on last episode, and I think I groaned a bit thinking it was serious at the start, and he kind of reassured me that it was a bit tongue-in-cheek or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, because it's like Nirnroot's in both games, like it's in Fallout 4 as an experimental plant, and that's kind of seen as a big, oh, well, Fallout and Elder Scrolls are exactly the same then. And it's like, yeah, they do exist in the same... Well, actually, I can go on with spiel here. They do exist in the same universe, but it's our universe, and they're realities that have been created by us. So technically they do exist in the same space, but in their own universes, there's not a specific link between the two, because the link is a level above rather than a parallel or lower level.
Could there be a meta joke in there too? Like... One of the... It's in the Institute, right? Is where it's found?
Maybe? I can't remember that part.
Okay.
I remember the plants. I don't remember where they are.
Experimental plant. The basis of this experimental plant was found by a Brotherhood field scribe at the mouth of a river and displayed unique chemical properties, prompting the scribe to graft it into a hardier stock for further testing and hybridization. It's found by the Brotherhood and stored on the Pridwin. That's one. I didn't even make that connection. Wow.
So the Brotherhood of Family.
Fan theories. Well, that's cool. Well, I was gonna think that, you know, if it was developed by the Institute, I'd be like, well, one of them is obviously an Elder Scrolls fan. They just wanted to make a Nirnroot. But now that theory goes out the window because it's the Brotherhood that has it. So
Yeah, well, it's found in a place where Nirnroot would grow. So I think the whole idea is that this is the same kind of place that Nirn is, because it grows here. The plant's the same as it was in that other place. And, I mean, just from what we know about our own universe, you don't get plants growing on many other planets that are the same.
yeah.
So, yeah, that...
Unless you're playing Spore and you only have a 3-plant loadout.
Yep.
Call back to that game.
Yeah, like, I don't hate the theory, but it is very much just based around an Easter egg. More than anything else. Like, I've seen, like, more in-depth ones where they really tug at the strings, like, oh, maybe magic has turned into radiation, and after the bombs dropped, everything died out, and radiation became magic. Because that's what radiation does, right?
Yes. Radiation FEV, magic.
Yep, but it's... I was one who was like, oh, we should do Fallout fan theories, but I'm also one being like, oh man, these fan theories are terrible. Everyone's just connecting dots for no reason, which is exactly what fan theories end up being.
Yeah, well, now you know. Now that we're discussing the topic.
I literally, okay, so we're about to move on to Caedo's whole simulation theory. I came up with my own, like, version of a simulation theory in, like, about 20 seconds, where I justified, like, everything within Fallout and made it all technically make sense, with, like, a stupid dumb theory I made up in no time, and I'm like, God, is this what fan theory people do all the time? God. Simulations.
So what was it?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to save that for a potential future one.
Oh, okay.
Because I can justify absolutely everything inside of Fallout just on the fly, because I'm better than the entire Fallout community at fan theories. Yeah, you heard me, community. That's a challenge. Prove it. Prove you're better than me. You can't.
That's a bring it on from Sarge.
Yep.
You better accept.
Better get on my level.
Since Sarge picked the fun Nate Nora is a synth one that I also wanted to talk about.
Because it's the only good theory.
Yeah, it's pretty much it's the only good theory. The one that came up also once the Nuclear Winter update came to Fallout 76 was Vault 51 and the fact that it exists, for one. That still exists, I should say.
Yeah.
When Vault 51 didn't have its original denizens for very long. I think it was about a year. And what the Zax supercomputer, you'll remember some Zax supercomputers from previous Fallout games, like Zax from Fallout 1, which was in charge of West Tech R&D, but like when you arrived there, it had a nuke like directly dropped on it, so Zax didn't really have control over anything. It was just playing chess with itself. Another example is John Henry Eden. He's a Zax mainframe from Fallout 3, and he was basically turned into that like righteous, xenophobic, idealized U.S. prior original government type thing by the Enclave. So, we all know how that turned out. And then you have one of the Zax computers that's in Vault 51, which is put in charge of deciding which is the best way to create an overseer for the Vault. Vault 51 doesn't start with an overseer. They have to go through many iterations of tests, first starting with democracy, obviously, and then moving on to essentially pitting the Vault Dwellers against each other in different ways until only one is remaining, which is the whole battle royale thing. But all this actually happened inside of the vault. And of course, the final Vault Dweller that was still alive by the end of all of this was found a way to, once the vault opened and Vault 76 was open too, he found a way to ship himself in a crate from Vault 51 to Vault 76, but ended up dying anyway. So this whole thing, though, it for some reason, Vault 76 players and their characters are able to take part in the Nuclear Winter's simulation, which is the ultimate version, or still, I guess it's being tested by the Zax mainframe as the idealized way to become Overseer, because you get Overseer ranks. They found a really interesting way to both gamify this and make it something interesting, like in a lore sense. Also, the holotapes are traumatic to listen to. Highly recommend. The cool thing is, though, it leaves it open to the player's imagination on how this actually functions, which then we start thinking about, well, if this is taking place in Appalachia and you have the Ring of Fire and stuff like that, like normal Battle Royale games, and all these players are dying, but then they're fine at the end of each round, that makes it seem very much like it's a simulation. Also, in Vault 51, there happens to be terminals that you have a short time to access all these things, because that's the waiting room. But you have terminals that reference Dr. Braun, and he's talking about shipping Hellfire power armor prototypes to Vault 51. And what was the other thing? He developed the GEC for Vault 94, which was the failed Vault raid. But all of these, since he is the master of Vault simulations, in Fallout 3, he was Betsy in the simulation that your dad's stuck in when you play Fallout 3. He was the overseer of Vault 112, and somehow he's still alive at that point, which was weird. But all of this kind of feels like the entirety of Fallout 76 is also a simulation, because like we have the full control of nuking pretty much wherever we want, and it's not dealing permanent damage. We still don't die for real, but these can be game mechanics too. They can be like explained away as being just part of the game. But with Vault 94 specifically, when it was an actual raid, you were going in and basically disabling or trying to disable the GEC, because that's what caused the mire to be in the state that it's in. At least that's what I recall anyway. But again, this could all be a simulation in getting GECs to be in a state to where they're actually usable and don't wreak havoc on the landscape, because there are functional GECs in following games later on in the timeline. So I think that's a very fun one to talk about, especially like bringing back Dr. Braun, because he's a freaking madman. And happened to be one of the lead Vault Tech engineers. Weird. So yeah, that's the one I had. I kind of just mouth vomited all of that information. I don't have much more.
That's good. I mean, you explained it all.
Yeah, I had notes, and I read those notes. It's like 3 bullet points. But I wanted to go into like what is being discussed by the Vault Dwellers in Vault 51 while they're still alive. And it has like, this is probably one of the one places where the Brotherhood is not involved, where it actually still feels Fallout-y, because Vault Tech is so heavily involved. And I kind of want to see more of that, and it be expanded upon as well, in a lore sense, because I want more crazy Vault Tech experiments to actually become content. Repeatable content, that is. We've had our fun in Nuclear Winter too, right?
Yeah, Nuclear Winter is a lot of fun.
Here's one of the things I wanted to check too. Is the Hellfire armor one of the rewards? The one that Dr. Braun was like, I want that?
I'm pretty sure it's like 51? One of the late rewards. Like, it might even be the end tier one. Oh wait, were there multiple ranks? I'm gonna check. Oh yeah, the skin is automatically unlocked after reaching rank 100 in Nuclear Winter game mode.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's the top one.
Makes sense. So that's cool. Yeah. So if it's, man, I wonder how they're gonna write in how the Enclave gets a hold of it too. That'd be cool. That'd be a cool addition. I mean, if this is all simulation, then whatever. But like Modus is a Zach's computer too, so
yeah,
I should mention that.
I feel like a lot of people out there probably like the idea of all of Fallout 76 being a simulation, because then they can basically just write it off as kind of sort of non-canon.
Like it never happened kind of thing. It was all Vault-Tec research and experiment.
Yep. There's definitely a lot of people who would enjoy that.
It was all a dream ending, the best ending for any story.
Oh yeah, everyone loves that it was all a dream ending.
Oh,
That's why all the best movies ever. Tony doesn't like just...
I think one of the Goosebumps books, like Choose Your Scare, like Choose Your Adventure ones that I read, ended with a, and then I woke up as a dog. Like, it's just stupid. But yeah, that's, we want to hear what your common fan theories or interests in fan theories are, if you guys have them in the comments below for sure.
Yeah.
You want to move on to what we're doing?
Sure, Caedo. What you been doing?
I've been pulled back into Monster Hunter World. Been playing a lot with my bro Nelsar, and Kite's been jumping in on a couple games too. We finally took on Furious Rajang. He is a chore. He's probably the one that carded us the most out of almost any other fight, because he is sporadic, hard to read, extremely fast, and can nuke your party. But we have yet to get to the big dragons too for the final endgame content. But it has been a lot of fun. Like the process, Nelsar was having a really hard time because he used Longsword as his like general go-to, and Longsword relies heavily on reading your opponent and counterattacking. And because Rajang is all over the place, it's just so hard to counter him. But we ended up doing it. Really, really proud of my bro for for sticking it out. So we've been having a lot of fun with that. I've been playing a little bit of Wasteland 3, making the next Wasteland 3 video, which is going to be secret or unlockable perks that are on the gameplay or the story side, I guess. You're getting it from like taking on certain NPCs in your HQ or helping out other NPCs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And
played a lot more Noita, which is the simulated roguelike pixel art thing, which is a lot of fun. And obviously a little bit of 76, of course.
Yeah.
Got to go do those dailies. Got to get that score.
Yeah. I'm up to like rank 95 now, and I'm just like, okay, I'm not focusing too hard on it. I'm just like, I want rank 100, but I think it ends in like a month's time. I'm pretty sure 10th of December is the end date.
Wow, it's still a month?
Yeah, they changed it. Originally it was like late November, but they changed it to like December.
Oh, nice.
So we've got more time.
We've got lots of time.
And there's a bonus dailies this weekend or next weekend or something, I think, as well. So it's very possible.
I noticed the treasure hunters came back too yesterday.
Yeah, treasure hunters are back. That is the case.
I don't know for how long.
It's got it on the inside of the vault. I think it's just like an extended weekend again.
Okay.
So probably by the time this is out, they're like gone in an hour or something. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, if you've made it to this point in the podcast, they're gone. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
It's probably the case. Like,
I need to reschedule my podcast for Fallout 76's schedule.
There's like a purveyor sale next weekend if anyone wants that, I think. And I think that's actually it, because the rest of the stuff was like the developer diary for broken steel armor Dawn.
Yeah, that
one.
You know, the
Brotherhood stuff.
Initiate, become an initiate. Woo.
Yeah, man, I'm completely avoiding it. Like, I've spoke to the Daily Ops dude who's already in game, and after that, I'm just like, no, I'm gonna wait, because I'm not liking the look of it so far. But
oh, really?
I'm just waiting. Yeah, just because what I wanted was it to be like the Outcast and just like a really broken down remnants of a Brotherhood kind of thing. But the guy who's currently in game, who is like He says he's like the last surviving member of the Brotherhood in Appalachia. Says that the Brotherhood that's coming is from Mariposa, the military base.
Oh.
And I'm like, to be fair, they could make it work. They could make it work.
Yeah.
But I was really hopeful for like a proper broken and beaten down Brotherhood.
I mean, it could be once they reach Appalachia too. Like, it's still possible, I think.
Yeah, but I'm kind of worried they'll have like some grandiose entrance and we'll be like the stand a big, bad, tough Brotherhood. Which
like,
I'll just be like...
Just parading around and
yeah,
killing muties and taking technology.
Like, look at how big and impressive we are, aren't we badasses? Oh, look at me, I've got some fancy power armor, aren't I great?
Yep. Well, what have you been playing besides dreading 76's update?
I was originally going to say I've not played that much, but I've realised this is like for the last 2 weeks, and I've actually played tons of stuff. Like, I played COD Black Ops 2 Zombies, I played Ultimate Doom, I played Metro 2033, I played Dark Souls 3, I played Warhammer Total War, I played Skyrim, I played Final Fantasy 8, I played Magic the Gathering, I played Borderlands 3, I played GTA 5. I've apparently been playing way more games than I thought I had, mostly because I don't know what I want to play right now.
Does that also have to do with your break that you're taking?
Yeah, I should probably say that. I'm on break. Do not subscribe to my channel. I know pretty much every other podcast I plug myself like crazy. This one, don't subscribe. I will not be making any new content for a while. Like, by the time the next PIPCAST comes out, I probably still won't have anything new up on my channel. So, yeah, don't subscribe. But, yeah, I made a channel update video where I showed off some Skyrim, because I've gone back and played that. That's been a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to playing more of that. But I have just played a whole bunch of stuff, and it's like, yeah, because I'm not having to play a Fallout and just cover that constantly, because I've stopped doing that now, I'm kind of just like, oh, what do I want to do? Because the big problem as well is I'm trying to, like, almost go cold turkey on content creation for just a short while, but whenever you play a game, you're like, I could make this piece of content, I could make that piece of content.
It doesn't turn off.
Yeah, it doesn't turn off, and I'm only trying to like turn it off very briefly, but it's like, oh, I've played 5 minutes of this game, well, here's like 20 different ideas I could make. Why aren't I working? So, yeah.
That's how I was with Noita. Like, as I was discovering things, I was like, oh, this could be a tip I write down.
Yeah.
No, I don't cover roguelikes. What are you doing, Caedo? Yeah. The not so great side of creating content is not being able to shut it off.
Yeah, I'm like half switched off, which I feel is the worst place to be. Because if I was like fully switched on, I'd still be making content. If I was fully switched off, I'd be relaxing. Instead, I'm stuck at the halfway point, and I'm just trying to push myself to actually being off.
Switch purgatory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's annoying, but it's
well,
fine.
I hope it does for you.
I'm gonna eat a plate of chicken and watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, because that's on Netflix UK now.
Ooh, oh, it's such a good movie.
Yeah, I've heard so much good stuff about it, and I've seen like some behind-the-scenes things which I geeked out about.
It's a spectacle movie for sure.
Yeah, like I've seen like some technical stuff where I'm like, oh my god, they use frame rate to show like one person being like better and faster than the other. That is so cool.
Yeah,
like I'm glad I've not seen any spoiler stuff, because all the stuff I've seen is people geeking out over just technical aspects, which is cool.
Yeah, and they did add the Spider-Verse suit to the Miles Morales game too.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, and it's going to have, you know, the same frame rate as the movie, as well as a lot of the same web slinging animations, and the comic book like sound effect like bursts when you punch people and knock them out and stuff like that. It's really cool. They went a little extra on the Spider-Verse suit, but it's awesome. But yeah, I think that's good. Thank you everyone for coming to hang out with us and hear us talk about stuff that sometimes we don't know what we're talking about. That was a lot of this. That's fan theories. If you have anything you want to contribute, you can down below in the comments below. Chance to become a comment of the cast. We also have links to the things that we were talking about down below if you want more context on the things we know nothing about. And I hope you all take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in 2 weeks, Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the next PIPCAST 3000.